The town of Hollow Creek was a place forgotten by time. Nestled at the edge of whispering pines, a sprawling forest of ancient oaks and gnarled pines, it held an uneasy silence. At the edge of town, shrouded in perpetual twilight, stood an old Victorian mansion. Its paint peeled, its windows were dark eyes, and its ornate balconies seemed to sag under a weight unseen. Locals gave the mansion a wide berth, their faces tight with fear whenever its name was uttered. The old house, they claimed, was a haven for something dark. It stood alone, a pariah, shunned by the living and haunted by the dead. The Harris family arrived in Hollow Creek on a day choked with the heavy air of an approaching storm. John, the father, was a man of boundless optimism, seeking a fresh start for his family. His wife, Mary, was a woman of quiet strength, her heart filled with a mother's love and a gnawing apprehension. Their daughter, Emily, was a bright and curious girl of 12, her eyes sparkling with both excitement and a hint of trepidation. John dismissed the local legends as mere superstition, his practical mind finding logic in the creaking floorboards and the drafts that snaked through the empty halls. Mary, however, couldn't shake off the feeling of unease that clung to her like a shroud. The first night was the worst. Strange noises echoed from the depths of the house. Emily, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination, was certain she had seen a figure standing at the top of the stairs. The attic was Emily's favorite place to explore. It was a treasure trove of forgotten memories, filled with dusty trunks, faded photographs, and cobwebs that hung like ghostly curtains. One afternoon, while rummaging through a trunk filled with antique clothing, Emily stumbled upon a large ornate mirror. Its silver backing was tarnished with age, and its surface was covered in a network of fine cracks. As Emily drew closer, she felt a chill run down her spine. She could have sworn she saw a flicker of movement in the mirror's reflection. Hesitantly, she reached out and touched the cold glass. The reflection rippled. Standing in the mirror, her back to Emily, was a woman. Her face was etched with a profound sadness. For a moment their eyes met, the living and the dead, separated by a veil of time and a pane of cracked glass. The nights that followed were the longest of Emily's life. Sleep offered no escape, only a terrifying descent into a world of shadows and whispers. The shadowy figure on the stairs appeared more frequently, its eyes fixed on Emily with an unnerving intensity. The whispers grew louder, sometimes morphing into guttural voices that seemed to claw their way up from the depths of the house. One night, Emily woke to the sound of her own name being whispered. She sat up in bed, her heart pounding, her eyes scanning the darkness, and then she saw her. The woman from the mirror stood at the foot of her bed, her spectral form shimmering in the darkness. The woman reached out a hand, her touch as cold as ice, and pointed towards the attic door. Drawn by an unseen force, Emily found herself climbing the stairs to the attic. The house was silent, the usual creaks and groans strangely absent. She pushed open the attic door and stepped inside. The air was heavy, thick with the smell of decay and the weight of unseen eyes. The mirror, its ornate frame gathering dust, seemed to beckon her closer. As Emily approached, she noticed a change in the reflection. The attic was gone, replaced by a scene from a bygone era. She saw a grand ballroom filled with elegantly dressed guests waltzing to the music of a hidden orchestra. And in the center of it all, her face pale and drawn, stood the woman from the mirror. One moment Emily stood before the mirror, her hand touching the cold glass. The next, she was gone. The disappearance of Emily Harris sent shockwaves through Hollow Creek. Searches were conducted, but no trace of the young girl was ever found. John, driven to the brink by grief and guilt, refused to believe that his daughter was gone. He spent every waking moment searching, his sanity slowly unraveling with each passing day. Mary, her heart shattered, retreated into a world of silent mourning. The old Victorian mansion stood empty once more, its windows dark, its secrets buried deep within its walls. The haunting of the Harris family had breathed new life into the old legends. The old Victorian mansion on the hill remained a place of fear, a silent monument to the darkness that lurked within its walls.